Hey, this is Ebube Olivia Akueme, and I'm coming to you live from Kent in the UK. How are you today? I hope you're well and you're good and you're having an absolutely fantastic Wednesday. Yes, I am. I'm having a very good Wednesday. I've had a number of delays, hence I'm just jumping on my Facebook Live now. And it so happens that that's what I'm going to be speaking about today. So today is all about overcoming obstacles. Obviously, we're still at the beginning of the year, and we still have a number of days, to get through this year. Not like we're in a hurry, but that's just the reality. We have a number of days ahead of us, God willing. And of course, living life, normally there would always be times where you experience some level of obstacles. And there are three obstacles really that I want to stay focused on today. The first one has to do with delays, just like I'm speaking about, because sometimes you will experience delays. Delays are part of life, but then there is a way to handle delays and there's a way not to handle delays anyway. And then the second one has to do with disappointments. Disappointments again form part of the journey. It's part of the journey of life. You find disappointments and delays. And the third one obviously is when you get or are deserted by people abandon you, people leave people don't believe in your vision or whatever it might be, but you're kind of like just tossed aside by somebody in a sense. Again, that happens. So when you experience delays, when you experience disappointments and being deserted as well, it's not always in fact, it's never a pleasant experience. I've never seen anybody who is going through some level of disappointment or certain delays and they're happy. It makes them happy. It doesn't make them happy. It makes people frustrated. Obviously, that's one of the first experiences people go through. They're frustrated. Sometimes they're anxious and what have you. And it creates all manners of, I would say, kind of negative emotions as well. So if you're just tuning in today is all about today is all about overcoming obstacles. Obstacles, are things that you would experience, especially when you're determined to get it right in any one of the 5 areas of your life, whether it's in your work or your career, your finances, your spirituality, your relationships, or your health. Oftentimes, you're going to be experiencing these three things. So delays, disappointments, and being deserted by somebody. I call them the three D's. Now, let me say one thing before I move on. There's always a benefit. It's always very beneficial to experience those three things, whether it's delays or disappointments or, being deserted. The first thing first, and this is very, very key and important, is that it builds your character. Whether you accept that or not, whether you like it or not, it would build your character. First of all, it reveals you. It reveals who you are to yourself, because the way you respond, the way you handle that particular situation that is causing delays or disappointments or whatever, shows you who you are to yourself. And some people sometimes don't handle it well. Some other people handle it better. So the first thing is it shows you to yourself, it exposes you to who you are. But then again, it shows you where you need to build character, and it helps you to build character if only you accept the lessons thereof. So that's the first thing. Another thing as well is that when you experience delays, disappointment, or being deserted, it brings that sense of direction, because then okay, this happened. Based on what happened, you can then follow another path or take a particular course of action. And of course, delays, disappointments, and being deserted as well obviously makes you tougher. You grow tough by these obstacles. These are some certain obstacles that you're going to be facing, and it makes you tougher. It makes you just a more tougher person in terms of your mental toughness and just your approach to life generally. And of course, again, it sharpens your focus, making you really focus on truly what matters to you, and especially regarding your goal or the thing that you're actually aiming at. And one thing I like as well is the fact that through obstacles, it begins to, obstacles like delays and disappointments, and being deserted, it obviously begins to unleash your creativity. Because you begin to think okay, you think differently, you begin to do things differently, most likely do things, as they say, outside the box. So whatever the box is, you're doing things differently. So if you're just tuning in on here now, hi, hello, you're welcome. I hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. I've been having a very good Wednesday, but I experienced delays, and it's one of the things that I'm talking about today. You know, the 3Ds that form obstacles that you might face in this year. You might face them. One will be delays. I expect a lot of delays this evening getting on here. Even when I thought I was going to come on at a certain time, I still experienced more delays, but I'm here. That's, you know, that's a big deal to me, actually. The second thing has to do with disappointments. Disappointments will come from maybe yourself and other people. And then the third one is deserted, you know, being deserted. When people abandon your vision, or they don't understand where you're going, or things like that, and they're not walking with you, they're not, you know, no longer part of the things, you know, the activities that you do to head you in the right direction, head you towards, you know, achieving your goals and your dreams. So the 3Ds, delays, disappointments, and being deserted, you would experience that from time to time, no doubt, because that's part of life. That's part of whenever you're in pursuit of a goal, or, you know, an outcome, you know, or you're trying to just, you know, achieve a dream, whatever it might be. As long as you're living, those things are only just necessary. And because they're necessary, it's very important that they're necessary in the sense that life would always make them necessary, like they would happen, but they're inevitable as well. So because of that, it's very important that you learn how to handle these obstacles, how to overcome these obstacles. First of all, of course, is what I said, is understanding the reason why, you know, life is throwing these things at you and what you can be doing about them. Understanding that, you know, you can build character, it can sharpen your focus, it can unleash your creativity, it can, you know, direct your path, and of course it can make you tougher. All of those things are benefits that you get by overcoming, or learning how to overcome, or experiencing and then learning how to overcome these obstacles. Hello Dio, you are welcome. I hope you're well and you're good and you're having a fantastic Wednesday. So what are the three tips? And these are my 3 tips that I want to share this evening. What are the 3 things that you can do whenever you experience delays, whenever you experience disappointment, whenever you experience being abandoned, you know, being deserted, being left, being rejected, whatever it might be, when people decide, oh, you know, they don't necessarily buy into your vision, they don't necessarily buy into, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, you know, they leave the project, whatever it might be. There are 3 things that I want you to focus on. The first one is that you must, when you experience any kind of you're experiencing any kind of obstacle, you're experiencing any kind of maybe delays, or these are disappointments, or being deserted, the first thing that you want to do is you must stay focused on your goal on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you must stay focused on your goal. This is not a time when you experience delays and disappointments and, you know, being deserted and all of that. It's not a time for you then to abandon yourself, or abandon your vision, or abandon your dreams, or abandon the very thing that you want to achieve. That's not the time. That is the time then to actually stay even in tune with where you're going, even get clearer on your dreams, get clearer on your vision, get clearer on your goal. What is it that you want to achieve? Now your goal has to be crystal clear. It has to be like a picture. For instance, let me bring my mug. That's my mug. I love to drink my lemon and warm water from this every single morning. But let's imagine this is what I wanted to design. Let's imagine this was my goal. Okay, this is the time now to get very clear on what this, you know, what this object is, what this outcome is. For instance, I have to paint the colors, and if possible, you have to even get a picture. You know, I need to take a picture of this somewhere and put it every day where I can see it. You know, I need to know what the color is. Is this lemonish kind of green? It's got black, the design, the shape, and all of those things, those intricate details. Get clearer, get sharper, get more focused on your goals. So if you're just tuning in today, you are so welcome. I'm talking about overcoming obstacles, because whether you accept, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, it doesn't really matter. Life would always throw you disappointments, delays, and being deserted. It would always bring those things your way. So the first thing is being very crystal clear, getting a clear, concise mental picture, not just an idea of what of what you want to achieve. That's not the time. This is the time now to be very, very clear. This is the time now to even be more determined. This is the time now to sharpen sharpen your the end result. Like, this is where I'm going now. This is what this is exactly what I want to achieve. You definitely have to do that. The second thing as well is learning to adjust your perspective. Perspective is a big deal, because I'll tell you one thing: the way you see things is crucially important. The way you see things on a particular issue. So when something is happening, maybe you're experiencing a kind of delay or disappointment or being deserted and all of that. You see, in that moment, it's very, very important that you get a very clear perspective and a very solid perspective on what you're experiencing. Why do I say that? Because if you have the wrong perspective, it can definitely derail you and take you off track. So for instance, one good perspective to have, and this is one that should be your kind of default perspective, is that you have to look at it from a perspective of gratitude, meaning that you look at the whole situation, you look at whatever has happened, the delay, maybe the disappointment, maybe being abandoned, and the one thing you say to yourself is, it could have been worse. That's what you need to live by. It could have been worse. This could have gone pear-shaped. It could have been even worse than what I'm currently experiencing. Now, when you're at that level of it could be worse, then you build from there. Then you take things from there. Then you begin to decide what course of action to take when you know that what I'm experiencing right now, what is happening right now, can or could have been worse than what I'm currently experiencing. Okay, so say for instance, you, like me now, I wanted to come on my Facebook Live today. I had a little bit of technical issues, things with my light. You can see my light is not as bright as I wanted it. I tried adjusting it, not happening, not working, and a couple of other delays like that. And I said to myself, well, this can be worse than is happening right now, but I would use what I have and go from that, that particular place and move on towards the thing that I want to do, which is sit down right here and do my Facebook Live. So whatever I have, I'm going to use it. But is to accept life sometimes and accept things from that angle of things can be worse. Hi BC, I hope you're well and you're good. Thanks for tuning in today, and I hope you're having a very fantastic Wednesday wherever you are. If you're just tuning in today, what I'm talking about is all about overcoming obstacles, because we know life would always throw obstacles at you. And the three obstacles that I'm focusing on today are things that you would always experience in life. Delays you would always experience, disappointment you would always experience, being deserted, by people, by somebody, by somebody who says, I don't believe in your vision, or they don't buy into, your dreams or your goals or whatever it might be. So you're going to experience that from time to time. We're still at the beginning of the year, so this is a very good time to sort of like stand back and look at the year, understanding that disappointments can come anytime and from anywhere, but you have to be ready and you have to know how to handle those disappointments. And of course, I've talked about the sort of like the benefits of being experiencing those obstacles. When you're experiencing those obstacles, obviously that it builds your character and so many other things that I've said that would help you. And of course, the three tips I'm talking about now are ways of overcoming those obstacles. Number one, obviously, is staying very focused on the goal. Number two, as I mentioned, is adjusting your perspective, understanding that things can be worse. And my number three tip is this: you must move or act accordingly. So when you experience a delay, say for instance, like again, let me go back to my Facebook Live. I was about doing my Facebook Live, and 1 second. Yes, May. Okay, sit over there and wait for mommy. Okay. I was about doing my Facebook Live, and that's what sometimes some of the things I experience. I'm about doing my Facebook Live and it's not happening. So sometimes you experience some of these things and you want to step back again and begin to act. You begin to move. You act according to what is placed before you. So if it's a disappointment, what can you gain or what can you do from that particular point moving forward? If it's whatever it is, you know, if it's a delay, if it's being deserted by somebody, maybe you need 5 people on the project to see this project through, and then you have only 3 people. Okay, I need 2 more people, you know, that sort of thing. So you must always move, or you must always act accordingly, and then you move from there. I hope this makes a lot of sense, and I hope you've gained value from today's life to understand that disappointments, delays, and things like that would always happen, but it is left to you to decide, make that decision that whatever comes your way, you will handle it and you will move ahead accordingly. Until next time, my friends, stay well, be better, and keep on overcoming your obstacles. Take care, my friends. Bye for now.